This book really was a product of when I was mental health director for Illinois between 2003 and 2005. I came into contact with a lot of advocates, mainly advocates working to end the stigma associated with mental illness, and there are many groups working on that, the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill and many others. But several of the groups that came to me were those who were trying to get the state of Illinois to pass a law such as California's or Colorado's that would allow for the medical use of marijuana or cannabis. And at that point in time, some of those folks, I really was impressed with their advocacy efforts, and they challenged me to take a closer look at the literature that we don't usually look at, which is the literature, the historical literature, the anecdotal literature, describing the experiences of patients who've benefited from using marijuana or cannabis, despite the fact that it's not, available legally or available as a mainstream medicine. So I started to educate myself and read a lot about cannabis and its use as medicine, both historically and in terms of current anecdotal reports. And this book really grew out of that process. And it essentially says that, yes, there's a whole medical movement that's building. There's also a whole history of criminalization and an outcry against that seems to be building and reaching a kind of critical mass or a tipping point. And we're also in an economic crisis in which it's very clear that there's a lot of potential economic gain to be had by redefining or reconceptualizing the way we handle this plant in our society. So what Cannabinomics essentially argues is that we're witnessing a convergence of these three different, what I would call policy trajectories: the medical movement, the recognition that the drug war itself is a major public health problem, and the recognition that from an economic standpoint there are better ways to deal with cannabis than the way we're dealing with it now.